Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to check that gap right there. Put your finger on the second fret right there. And the height of the bottom of the nut slot right there, where that E string is, the bottom of that nut slot should be just barely taller than the frets. So to determine that, you push down on the second fret, and that gap in between the string and the fret, I want there to be almost no space in there, paper thin. So I'm going to loosen it, move it over. These are the strings I'm putting on. As you can see, 10 gauge to 50. I'm going to take out the 10. Never used these before, so here we go. We're going to see how they work. Now, as you can see, you want to follow the break angle of the string in the slot. So the slot should be the same break angle as the string, and should also follow the same course horizontally. So the break angle is going to be about like that. So I want to use my file like that and just go slow. Checking it periodically. So we'll check it, put it back in, tighten it, and you can still see we got plenty to go. So let me loosen that up. See, as I'm filing right now, I'm not actually hitting this front surface yet because I'm filing in the break angle, so it's taking off material on this edge of it. It's not even hitting that edge quite yet, so I need to go down a little farther, because when they were originally filed, they didn't file it at the break angle, which is pretty common. You know, this is a lower end tailor, so they don't really do the finishing touches in setting it up. As you can see, like, you know, this is not filed down. It's got that sharp corner. I'm gonna round that off, polish that up. You know, this right here is my fret file. I'll file the corners down real nice. You know, that's what you pay for. Well, that's one of the things you pay for in the high-end guitars, is that finishing touch. So that's what we're doing now. And these things I'm doing to this guitar, with the nut and with the frets, which I'll do at a different time, that makes a world of difference in the playability of the guitar, the feel, everything. The action and playability of the guitar, all is built off of the nut. So do not underestimate the importance of a properly cut and finished nut. It affects the tuning stability, it affects the playability, it affects the intonation, the tone. So this is a lengthy process. I'm going to be fast forwarding through this. So just so you know, before I got these, I would use these. These are feeler gauges you could get at any auto parts store. And I would take the gauge that I would need. I would wrap sandpaper around like that, and I would use that. And it works, but it's not very precise, because you ultimately don't, know exactly how thick that's going to be. And as you can see, it's not a completely flat surface, so it makes it kind of a little sloppy. So, like I said, this is the first and only time. My first and only file I'm using. This is the first time I'm using it, so we're gonna see how it goes. I feel really good, so I know it's right. Yeah, this is going really slow. Because I don't get to check it so often. So, as I said, we want that break angle in there going down towards the string, like that, right? Towards the back edge, but maybe round it up a little bit so it's flat at the very front, like that. Like flat, how the string would be. Go. And then round it down. And then once I get to this middle one, not only do I want to go down, but I also want to go that way. We want very gradual angle changes. In fact, these 3 and 3 style tuners, if the nut is cut when they're straight, just straight, and don't have that angle out, that really affects the tuning stability of these strings. And that is why I get notorious for being out of tune all the time. You know, and their heads just completely breaking off. We're almost there. You see how the string is really seated in there. Like the top of the nut is actually way above the string. This whole nut could be filed down, where maybe these first 2 strings will be tucked in there, just barely tucked in there. But I want to be able to feel the top of the string. Like see how you could see this top coming out? That's how it should be. And then these corners right there, get rid of that corner. Make that nice and round. And even that sharp edge right there, take that back just a little bit. And then overall, just polish this whole thing up. Make it look really nice. You'll see when it's done. Just look finished and complete. Clean up this fretboard, these fret edges. Round off the frets themselves. It's not, you know, essential. I just like to do that. Which, like I said, we're not doing that today. But it's getting pretty close. So as you can see, I'm going down at the break angle, and I'm also going that way. Excuse me. So I'm going down that way and then over. See? So it could follow the string to the tuner. And that is very important. So if you're having trouble with tuning stability, you know, you want the string to sit nicely in there, touching the bottom. You don't want there to be, and you don't want it to be such a break angle that it's touching the very front of the nut, but it's not touching in the back. You know, then you're going to get string rattling. You don't want it to be loose in there. A little bit more. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm halfway done there. So I wanted to show a different angle. And if you could see, as I'm filing down, the back edge is going in slowly. The silver, which is graphite that I put in there, is slowly wearing away. So there's still a little bit at the very leading edge, which means I haven't hit that with the file yet. So I'm gonna let an angle go at that same angle until that leading edge is barely filed off, which is right about there. So this particular string doesn't need much gone from it. I just wanted to make sure I got that break angle in there. When you're doing your final checks, make sure you have a string tension. And I think that's good. That's really close. Okay. You don't want it touching necessarily, but pretty close to touching. close. I'm gonna go a couple more passes. I mean, I could probably quit right there, but you know, let's fix it till it's broke, right? Go slow with this, you know, don't rush through this. If you don't have the patience to do it, then hire somebody to do it, but do not rush this process. You shouldn't rush any process in the guitar, really. I'm gonna go a little bit more. I'm really living on the edge here, but we're gonna chance it. Yeah, that's good. All right, so we're good there. So now I'm gonna take the strings off and I'm gonna really clean that up. Trim up this corner right here first. The string doesn't have to sit that far down in there, so we can take it down so it's more comfortable, it'll look nicer. You know, I like it to be that when my hand hits it, it's comfortable and you don't even notice. I want to be able to run my finger over the top and you can feel the top of the strings, you know. Take your time with this. I'm taking my time with this, maybe a little too much, but this is, you know, that was my first time using those files, and you know, I want to make sure I do a good job. So, you know, the more you do it, the faster it'll get. Like I said before, I'm going to take that edge down just a little bit. See, just getting the rough shape with the file, and then we're going to go over it with the sandpaper. I'm starting with 320. I'm going to go up to 2000. And then get this edge too, just to get, you know, I want it looking nice. Get that old yellowish color out of there. If you find yourself starting to rush through it, because either you got to be somewhere soon and you just wanted to finish it before you had to go somewhere, or if you're just tired of doing it, you're losing focus, whatever the reason is, when you find yourself rushing through it, just stop and finish it later. Brush it out. Might go through it with the file real quick just to get any debris out of there. It's so much better than it was, right? The guitar setup as it relates to the action height and intonation, all that, everything, it all starts here. You know, this has to be good. You want to start with a good foundation of well-cut nut. Okay, so I did go through and I polished the frets and I rounded the fret ends. And I also rounded the fretboard edge. Put a link in the description for the videos on polishing frets, and eventually I'll make a video on actually rounding off the fretboard. Okay, so I did shim the neck to just increase the angle just a bit. That will lower the action. The truss rod I adjusted before I took the strings off, so that is set correctly. We have the nut set correctly. So we have the truss rod, the nut, and hopefully that break angle is correct. And when I string it up, it should be good. So I'm going to string it up, and then we're going to test the string height and file down the bridge if necessary. File a groove right in there. Taking into consideration the break angle of the string, like I did on the nut. I'm gonna follow up with the 56, just the top of it. So I just put a little groove in there to start with, and we're gonna string that up, test it out. So I installed the low E string, and I decided that I'm going to file down the rest of them off camera because it is redundant. Okay, so I strung the guitar up, and the string action is good. If you can see the where it says acoustic guitar, the first string, it's underneath the line, which is a good thing. And then if I check up here, so I would call that a success. So in conclusion, I'll say the files did a really good job. They're definitely slow going, which is a good thing. Again, it forces you to work slow and not make mistakes. The guitar plays amazing. The action is so low, and I mean, it feels like an electric guitar how low the action is. It's incredible. It's so comfortable, and especially down here in the cowboy chords area, the action is so low on the first fret. It's much more comfortable. It makes a world of difference, I'm telling you. So, whether you do it yourself or have somebody do it, I recommend definitely getting the nut filed. It's very important. It seems like an insignificant piece of plastic at the end of your guitar neck. It's not. It's very important. I can't stress that enough. So with that, I'm Mike with Guitar Recovery. Subscribe, like, bell. Thank you.